Hello, my loves. This is Heidi Hancock with your soul message for August 2020. How's everybody doing? It's a lot going on, huh? So for July, I talked about the underworld, that we were going into, falling into the hole, to the well, so to speak, going into the underworld. And I said that it was for a very specific reason, and that was to go down and gather a gem, a piece of yourself that is very special, very precious, that is necessary for you on the forward movement and the journey that we are all on, and that you are on independently. And interestingly enough, so from that moment I started doing weekly oracle readings. So from the one from this Monday, I talked a little bit about the energy that I started seeing showing up, which was this mother-father energy, and you can watch more about that in that message. But ultimately what we have now is the energy of the mother-father, the masculine, feminine, the lunar, solar, pointed towards us. And what's happening is it's like we're a stew, we're a soup cooking in the center of that. And the reason for that heat, the reason for that massive discomfort, it's like we've got this kind of white knuckling it energy going on right now, was because we are making a bone broth. We, like ourselves, are the bone broth right now. And we have the bone, the vessel, the vehicle, the container that we are. And then the bone marrow is like the programming, the shoulds, the who we were told we could be or that we should be, how we should show up, how we please everybody else, all the programming. And that programming, that who wasn't us, is being cooked out of us right now so that we can be left with the hollow bone, the container, the instrument that we use to allow spirit to come through. So where we are right now is sitting in that soup. We are both the container, we are the bone, and we are the marrow, and we're all cooked in there together. So it feels very murky, very muddy. You might have a sense of, I kind of understand better where I'm going or what I want to do, but it's all still like a big soup and you can't really do anything with it yet. And there also can be this kind of panicky, white knuckling energy that I mentioned, because we can feel that what is going to be required of us in coming into that, into being that bone, being who we were meant to be instead of who we were told to be, is going to allow, it is going to require the detachment of this sense of who we thought we were. Super uncomfortable when who we thought we were, we have so identified with that we think it is who we are. So if we're being asked to let go of that, there's this sense of like, oh my God, am I going to die if I let go of this part of myself that I've so deeply identified with that maybe is time to go anyway, but also isn't who you ever were. It's who you adapted to be based on the circumstances and the container that you were allowed to live in. So what we're doing now is we're being called. So if you imagine the cauldron, the vessel of the stew, right? So that's one set of energies. Another set of energies that's beginning to come in for August, and I don't feel it right quite here yet, but I feel like this is the energy that's coming through for the month of August, is this sense of cleansing that container, cleansing that bone, because there is so much sediment connected to the gems and the jewels that we went down in the underworld to get. They're stuck in there, and we have to cleanse it away really well to pull that jewel out. So what's happening is this energy is going to start coming in, and it's like a waterfall coming over our crown and all the way down our spine, and it's cleansing away all of those old parts that really want to cling on and hang on. Okay, enter the white knuckling, right? Uncomfortable. The other thing that it really calls us towards is boundaries. Because as we start to learn and discover who we are, we have to move in the world in a different way. So maybe we realize, and this is a good place to look, if you're not sure, are my boundaries murky, muddy, whatever, all you have to do is look towards where your boundaries have already been leaky. So places where you've people pleased, where you've overworked, where you've stepped over the line of, your dance space, someone else's dance space, your responsibility, someone else's responsibility. So we have to start pulling back now. And especially for those people pleasers, this is going to be really uncomfortable. And for the people who are used to getting their needs met by the people pleasers, totally uncomfortable too, but also not your problem. We have to start unwinding those physical patterns. Our body is so rooted in that one direction that it wants to just go for that. It's almost like an addiction. Like you want to just go for that thing that you're comfortable, that you've learned helps you navigate this world. And we have to let go of some of those things. So boundaries, really important. And something very important I want to make sure to mention about boundaries. Having boundaries is not about having boundaries with or for someone outside of you. It's not about having boundaries with someone. It's about having boundaries with and for yourself. Because ultimately, you are caring for yourself. The only responsibility that you have in this world is for you. Yes, we have external responsibilities, people, relationships, all of those things, but none of those can be supported or nourished if you're not taking care of your home, your own container, your sense of self. And you know what I'm talking about when I say, or I assume you know what I'm talking about when I say, when you go spend time with someone and you really don't have time to do it, or you don't have the energy to do it, but you do it anyway, no one is nourished, because they can feel that you want to be somewhere else or you need to be somewhere else. You know that you need to be somewhere else and that you crossed your own boundary to do it. You didn't listen to your internal guidance system. So all of those alarms are going to start going off now, and we have to come back to really tuning into our internal guidance system. All of this and all of the chaos and craziness in the outside world is completely and totally supporting this, because when there's so much chaos outside, what it does is it points us back here. If we can't find the answers and figure out what is going on out here, it's pointing us back to ourselves anyways, which is where we wanted to be in the first place, to have a sense of sovereignty. Where do we feel we need to be? And each person is going to have a different answer to that. What is right and good and solid and strong for someone else is not necessarily going to be the same for you. So this month, the suggestions that I'm making is to cleanse all of the different bodies. So first, the physical body. Diet, exercise, of course, are obvious ones. But also, things that we might not even think about. Taking a break from technology. Taking a silence, like a silence bath, a nap from all of the input, whether that's, technology or otherwise, and taking moments for silence. The other thing is, so for the mind, meditation, quieting the internal voices, all of that, the emotions. So I just started this practice for myself, and I'll share it here. I'm calling it the Go Fuck Yourself meditation, which is my favorite thing ever. You sit in silence, set the timer for 10, 20 minutes, whatever you need. Close your eyes, drop in, let yourself feel whatever you're feeling, all of the unspoken words, the anger, the frustration, whatever you need to off gas, and allow yourself to physically speak it out loud. Say those things out loud, obviously in private, so you don't offend anyone. And you get that shit out of your body. Because like so many people pleasers, and I'm a recovering one myself, so I totally understand. We are so used to leaving ourselves and going to take care of other people that we forget. And we go off and we go away from ourselves. And so we don't even know how we feel. Like someone can ask us how we feel and we can say, oh, I'm fine. but you don't really know how you feel. And so allowing yourself to speak all of those things out loud is this beautiful gift, because you get to actually see right in front of you how you actually feel. Then you can see, where have you crossed your own boundaries? Where have you not taken care of yourself? And you can right those wrongs immediately. And then the heart body as well, and tuning into that. And I just recorded what I call the 5 bodies meditation, which is a way to touch into all of those 5 bodies. And I'll have that on my website somewhere to download. So that's another opportunity for you. So last month, I started pulling an oracle card, and this is from Kim Kranz's Wild Unknown Archetypes deck. So last month, I did the same thing I did this month. I wrote the whole message, tuned in, got all of the energy. I wanted it to be clean and fresh from my guides without any outside input. And then I decided to pull a card. And it's just unbelievable. I can't even deal with this card. So it is the gem. And what is so beautiful about this, so last month I pulled the underworld, and that was when we were going down into the tunnel, right? And I said, we're going down there for a very specific reason, and it's to gather the gems of ourselves. And then I pulled this card again for Women's Circle that same week that I uploaded the monthly meditation, the monthly soul message for July. And when I asked what card is here to support and is further expressing this energy for August, this is what came up. So I love it. We're down in the underworld, mucky, dirty, and we're down there to get the gems. And look at how the card even has this sort of underworld, unknown, right? But we're going down there to get that. So I'll read this just as an added expression of what I've said. So the gem is the diamond, the gold, the inner treasure. That's where we're going. Right? That's what we're going to collect. There are infinite names for the gem. It is also known as the jewel, the star, the talent, the gold, the gift. One thing for certain is that it is found deep within a substance that is very unlike it. For example, a diamond in the rough, or I would add the underworld, the mucky, soupy bone broth that we're in right now that seems unclear but will clear. The gem always stands in contrast to its surroundings. You can find it when you're among comforts and pleasantries. Precious stones develop slowly deep in the earth amid pressure and darkness. Discovering the gem requires a descent beneath the surface, again the underworld, where there is no definite map. Yet the longing to touch the true gem within is so strong that we cannot help but seek out its radiance. Your gem, like your destiny, is unlike any other in the entire world. Keep digging. When light, unique, shining, generative, irreplaceable, that's your gem, beautiful self. When dark, envy, greed, grasping. And that's that sense, like the greed and the grasping and all of that can come when there's this place of, discomfort. I'm down, I'm in this soup, in this muck, and where am I going, and why am I here, and oh my God, I thought I had a purpose, and all of a sudden, it went to hell. This other little piece, it says, the moments of your life that glimmer are clues to where the gem resides. Don't covet the sparkling diamond of another. The gem is like a fingerprint, never to be repeated again. Find yours. So again, that is so indicative and speaks of the boundaries that I talked about, right? Like, we are in this massive upgrading of figuring out who we are always meant to be, and letting go of what is not us. And that is no small task. Be gentle with yourself. Really focus on cleansing and clearing all of the 5 bodies: physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, and heart. Really attending to all of those as unique, separate parts of ourselves, because they are separate and they have different needs and they have different gas tanks, and it will behoove you to tune into all of those. So no small task, but a beautiful, beautiful space to be. I eventually see a colander coming underneath this soup that allows the drainage of all the bone marrow, all of that programming that is not us. But it doesn't feel quite time. It feels like that may come over this month, but I feel like it's maybe going to be a little bit longer before we get real clarity. But that's it. I love you. Be well this month and take care of yourselves. Namaste.